So there's way too many times that I've just joined completely unorganized and messy servers, whether that be from them having over 100 different types of channels in the server, not having any categories to split the channels up, or the server just overall looking like a hot mess. So I decided to put together this video with one goal in mind, and that is to help you guys have an organized server by the time you're done watching this. Without further ado, let's dive into it. During the course of this video, you guys might see my cats rummaging around in the background. If you do, just ignore them. They're having a good time. Let's dive into my first way on how you can organize your server, and that is less is more. No, I'm serious. The biggest way to clean up and make your server look nice and tidy is to just get rid of all the excess channels that you have sitting around in your server. I guarantee a lot of you guys watching this have 30, 40, maybe even more than 50 channels in your server. And if you actually go through and look at them, I guarantee only 5 to 10 of them are actually being used regularly. Something pretty cool, if you guys ever want to know which one of your channels are actually being used more than others, if you come to your server settings and go to the server insights tab, you can go to the server insights on Discord's website. If you come over to, I believe it's engagement. Yeah, you can actually scroll down and look at all of your channels, and you can see exactly how many people are reading it per week, how many people are chatting in the channel per week, how many messages are sent. So it can give you a good idea of who's actually, one, chatting in those channels, and then two, actually reading the channels. That's probably more important too. And there's a lot of other really cool stuff that you guys can find on this website. I mean, you can see how many people have muted your server every single week. You can see a message activity. You can see all sorts of different stuff. You can even see like where people from your server are located geographically. It's really cool stuff, honestly. So definitely check that out. And after you look at it, see how many channels you have and what you can maybe get rid of. What channels do you have that people aren't chatting in? And then really, what channels do you have that people aren't even reading at all on a regular basis? The more channels that you have in your server, the less likely it's going to be for a user to actually be active and engage in your server, due to them having the possible feeling of being overwhelmed by how many channels you have. They don't know where the conversation is actually happening. Moving on to the next one, let's talk about bots. And yes, I'm talking to you, the person that has 15 to 20 bots in their server. And now listen, I know sometimes you do need a few different bots to do different things, because it's really hard to find that one bot that does every single thing for you unless you're willing to pay premium fees on certain bots. So I totally understand needing to have a few different bots if you're willing to take the free route, which is probably the smarter way. These bot prices nowadays are ridiculous. I mean, some bots want you to pay over $15 a month just for some simple features like social shout outs or whatever the case may be. It's getting pretty out of hand. I mean, the only reason that I have Mi6 Premium is because I got grandfathered in at only $5 a month, but I'm pretty sure now it's literally $15 a month. And that's just way too much for a Discord bot, in my opinion. So it's okay to have a few different bots in your server, but try not to have more than like 10 bots in your server, because it starts to get really overwhelming to people. And a lot of cases I've seen, you'll have multiple people that have a lot of bots. They'll have multiple bots with the same prefix, like where you use the command, you do an exclamation point or a question mark, whatever the case may be. A lot of people will have multiple bots set up with the same exact prefix, and then a user goes to try to use a bot command and they have 4 different bots reply to their command, and they're like, what the heck do I do? And then you have a lot of people with smaller servers who have way more bots than they have even members in the server, and that's just, I don't know, to me that's just a bad look. Boop. So the best rule of thumb is to try to keep it to as few bots as you can to do all of the tasks that you need to do. If you guys want to see me do a video on what the bots that I think are the best bots to have in your server, definitely let me know in the comments below or by dropping a like on the video. And if there's enough of you guys that want it, then I might put together a little video talking about the best bots for you guys. So moving on to the next way to completely enhance the way your server looks and make it much more appealing to the general eye is to spice it up using some cool symbols like I have in my server. In my opinion, it makes it look way more clean and way more professional when you have some nice little symbols going along with your channel name instead of it just being plain and basic. It's a nice clean way to spice up the look of your server without, if you're not willing to do something like emojis in your server name. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with using emojis in your channel names, but for me personally, I think it's a little too distracting. So I usually opt away from recommending emojis in your server names, or I'm sorry, in your channel names. But if you want to do it, that's still an option. But for you guys to do this, all you have to do is come over to this website called coolsymbol.com. I'll have a link for it down in the description below. And it's literally got just thousands and thousands of different, just all these different symbols that you can use. You simply just click on it and it'll copy it to your clipboard. And then you just go to your edit your channel name and you paste it on there, and boom, you have some really cool, clean symbols that you can use in your channel names. Something that's cool about a lot of these symbols is they have built-in spaces on them. So if you want to do something like I have in my server where I have just a solid vertical line, it's got a little bit of spacing on the left and a little bit of spacing on the right. So I don't have to manually input a space after the symbol to type out the channel name, because when you do that, you're going to have that dash that Discord puts on all spaces inside channel names. So this is a really cool way to even get around that if you want to have something to spice up your channel names without having to manually input a space and get that stupid little dash that it does. So definitely check that out. I think it'll make your server look a lot cleaner. Last but not least, let's touch a little bit on color coordination. And this is something pretty minor, but I do think it adds a nice clean pattern, so to say, in your server. Now, taking a look at my server, I don't have as many roles as some of you guys might. So the depth of color coordination for me and my server isn't as deep as what you guys might could go to. But you can see that I have my 5 XP levels that they get from me 6 color coordinated, where it starts out at a darker blue, and as they slowly level up, it goes up to like a brighter blue turquoise. It makes, when you actually look at your server over here, it makes for a nice clean dark blue, like one nice switch of colors as they progress through the levels. And I personally think it's a really nice touch. Now I got another cool site for you guys if you want to easily pick a color palette instead of having to manually go through and pick the exact precise colors. You guys can actually come to this website called Color Hex. I'll have that link in the description too, where you can actually pick from pre-made color palettes. They range from anywhere from 3 colors all the way up to like 7 or 8 colors. And it's basically what I said. It just fades from a light color all the way to a dark color, or a dark color all the way to a light color on that same spectrum. So here you have a lighter brownish beige color, and it slowly fades into a darker brown color. And as you can see, there's literally over 2,000 different pages of these. You guys can come up here and actually type in like blue, and I can't type. If you type in blue, then you'll get a huge array of different blue color palettes. So definitely check that out. Choose a color palette to your liking and give your Discord roles a nice little color themed palette. It might not seem like a huge touch, but in my opinion, it'll definitely help tie some things together. And with all that being said, I think that brings us to a close for the video. If you guys do have any other ideas on how to organize your Discord server that I may have not touched on, be sure to drop it in the comments below. Let other people know. Throw out your other ideas. Let's make a community effort to see how many different ways and different tips that everyone's using to organize their server. I'm sure you guys have a lot of methods that I may have not touched on that someone else might find very helpful. With that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.